So, all right, we have got our finalist. It is going to be India versus Australia at Ahmedabad, and this match has finally ended because as we were waiting for this match to end, Australia was taking all the time in the universe to complete this match, and they were like, "Okay, we're going to utilize each and every ball." Because it was supposed to end before like half an hour back, right, Vijay? Because we were like waiting for like each runs and everything. They're taking all the time. Finally, we have a winner, which is Australia. I don't know whether the Indian fan is happy within me to have Australia in the final, or happy or not so happy of having Australia in the final. I'm very much confused in this manner. Would you help me in that?
Yeah, sure. So I think Indian fans, they would have preferred South Africa rather, because Australia, we know Australia, what they have the experience of playing in the knockouts, or over the years we have seen when it comes to the World Cups, Australia पीछे नहीं हटते, वो कहीं पे भी नहीं हटते, and then it's just the team, and they have the momentum in this World Cup right now. Even though they had a very shaky start at the beginning, but अभी जिस तरह से उनका फॉर्म चल रहा है, as a team they are clicking really well, and that's what we saw in the first innings as well when they came out to bowl. So yeah, in a way, like just to summarize this question, I think Indian fans, they would have preferred South Africa, because South Africa ने जो, although they finished second on the points table, they didn't look as menacing as Australia so far. So yeah, South Africa prefer karte the Indian fans.
Right, let me show you the match summary of this match, how exactly this match ended up. As South Africa opted to bat first at Kolkata, and afterwards we see 212 runs out of 10 wickets at the Eden Gardens, where David Miller scored a century, which was a great and a huge inning at such a crucial point for South Africa. Then Henry Klaasen scored 47 runs, Mitchell Starc took 3 wickets, and Pat Cummins took 3 wickets as well. Then we see Australia coming for the chase, and they ended up at 215 runs out of 7 wickets at 47.2 overs, where Travis Head scored 62 runs, Steve Smith scored 30 runs out of 62 balls. That is another topic to be discussed. But then Tabraiz Shamsi took 2 wickets and Gerald Coetzee took 2 wickets, and afterwards Australia won it by 3 wickets. Now the again question comes in, Vijay, what happened to South Africa and what has been happening to South Africa? Because yet again it is a knockout match, it is a semi-final, and South Africa could not win it. They have been doing it throughout the tournament. They were winning big runs. They were just doing all over the park everything which was required, and suddenly at the semi-final against Australia, you have lost it. You have lost it the way you have never thought about it. And जिस तरीके का हमको उनका कोलैप्स भी देखने को मिला था, अगर डेविड मिलर की सेंचुरी नहीं होती तो ये 200 भी नहीं होते. So like, how do you see this? Is it really the pressure thing which has worked for South Africa and for Australia as well at the positive point of view, or there is something else which went wrong for South Africa?
I think initially when they won the toss, I think they expected things to be very easy, although cloud cover था. But because they decided to bat first, I think they were expecting easier conditions than what they were. So जो movement थी, ball move हो रहा था, bounce हो रहा था अच्छी तरह से. The way the lines that the Australian bowlers bowled, वो एक point पे ऐसा था कि टेस्ट मैच लाइन लग रही थी, और जिस तरह से उन्हें हेल्प मिल रही थी कंडीशंस की, overhead conditions and also from the pitch, वो I think the South Africans didn't expect it, इतना ज़्यादा help होगा. They might have thought कि ठीक है, शुरू में जितना होगा we'll manage it, थोड़ा wickets lose नहीं करेंगे, and even if they score maybe like 30 runs in 10 overs, afterwards they can make up for it. But वो वैसा नहीं हुआ. They lost the wickets in the first 10 overs, 4 wickets in the first 10 overs, and just for 24 runs. So वो उनके against चले गया, and Australians, they should be given the credit for that, because they bowled really well. जैसा मैंने कहा कि line length उनकी जो थी and the help that they were getting, they understood the conditions really well, and they stuck to their plans कि अभी ये length, ये batsman को ये length ऐसा डालना है, यहाँ पे ऐसा swing हो रहा है तो वैसा out swing हो रहा है, in swing वैसा कुछ है, even slips उन्होंने बराबर रखी थी, and the ball went to the slips as well. So जिस तरह से bowling चल रही थी, it was very much like test match cricket in the first 10 overs. So वो I think South Africa के maybe the batters didn't expect that at that stage कि इतना help मिलेगा. And talking about pressure, I think South Africa and the knockouts, पता नहीं, समझ में नहीं आता है कि ऐसा कैसे होता है South Africa के साथ बार-बार. And when the first 11 overs were bowled and they lost 4 wickets, I just felt like it's again South Africa is choking again. But again, David Miller and Klaasen, they both played really well. 95 runs का partnership, as you said, जो 200 बना वो मिलर अगर 100 नहीं बनाते तो होता ही नहीं था वो, no chance. And South Africa might have even folded like in about 100 runs or so. So Miller का innings बहुत जबरदस्त था, and he took his time as well. And when the spinners came on, Zampa आए, and then he started playing his shots as well. जहाँ पे थोड़ा room मिलता था, थोड़ा ऐसा लगता था सामने आया उनके within reach है, he hit those sixes as well. So he played really well. बहुत patience के साथ भी खेला, and then he attacked when it mattered the most. And because of that, South Africa reached that 213 total.
Right. Let me show you the top performance of the first inning and second innings. So if we go by the first innings chart, so we can see David Miller, definitely a crucial century by David Miller, because without him putting up this kind of a performance on stage, I think South Africa could have gone like match definitely नहीं जीत पाए, but still एक जो फाइट थी वो इनकी इनिंग की वजह से हमें दिखाई पड़ी कि थोड़ा सा गैप था साउथ अफ्रीकन बॉलर्स के पास टू रियली शो some of their efforts. And afterwards, Mitchell Starc ने जो first innings में 3 विकेट लिए, वो थी top performance of the first inning. Now, if we talk about the second innings, तो वहाँ पर हमें quite evident है Travis Head by scoring 62 runs and Tavares Shamsi taking 2 wickets. और जो जिस तरीके से उन्होंने साउथ अफ्रीका के लिए एक बड़ा ब्रेक थ्रू ग्लेन मैक्सवेल का विकेट इन्होंने लिया और काफी खुश थे सेलिब्रेशन वी कैन सी, बिकॉज हमें पता है लास्ट मैच में ही ग्लेन मैक्सवेल ने क्या करके दिखाया था और उसके बाद में फिर जिस तरीके से हमें यहाँ पर परफॉर्मेंस देखने को मिली और ग्लेन मैक्सवेल को चलता किया जल्दी, तो वो खुशी थी उनकी तरफ से. बट टॉकिंग अबाउट साउथ अफ्रीकन बैटिंग itself in this whole tournament, we have seen कि Quinton de Kock was giving good starts to South Africa. उसके बेस पर हमने थ्रू आउट टूर्नामेंट बड़े स्कोर्स बनाते हुए देखा साउथ अफ्रीका को. आज वो फ्लॉप रहे तो हमें बाकी के 2 बैटर्स जैसे कि टेम्बा बावुमा, उनकी तरफ से भी कोई मदद देखने को नहीं मिली. और इवन उनका टॉप ऑर्डर कंप्लीटली मैं कहूंगी फेलियर रहा आज, बिकॉज राशिद पेनडसे ने भी 6 रन ही स्कोर किए. उसके बाद में फिर आपने देखा कि कोशिश कर रहे थे मार्करम हेरन देयर शॉट्स लगाने की, बट वो भी फ्लॉप रहे. तो टॉप 4 तो बैक टू बैक उनके फ्लॉप रहे. क्लासन एंड मिलर ने थोड़ी सी पारी संभाली. सो डू यू सी कि इफ यू रियली कैन गेट क्विंटन डी कॉक आउट cheaply, so South Africa cannot win a match?
Maybe not always, but that actually has a very big impact whenever it happens. So Quinton de Kock, he has been the informed player for South Africa. Like शुरू से हमने जो देखा काफी अच्छे starts दिए हैं, and he even scored 100s as well. So वो एक form player थे, and getting him out early, वो एक psychological impact भी करता है टीम पे कि मतलब इतना हमारा informed player and he has been a veteran as well. So वो अगर जल्दी आउट होते तो psychological impact होता है. And secondly, those conditions they were really not easy to bat on early on. And उसी में फिर वो जिस तरह से वो हावी हो गए थे ऑस्ट्रेलियन बॉलर्स उस टाइम पे, it just became a bit difficult for the South African batters to even unleash at that time. वो रिस्क लेना ही नहीं चाह रहे थे South Africans at that time. They just thought कि ये पूरा थोड़ा जो भी 10 ओवर है 12 ओवर है निकाल लेते हैं, जब थोड़ा इजी हो जाएगा फिर स्टार्ट हिटिंग देन. बट वो बाय दैट टाइम उनके पास विकेट्स उतने बचे ही नहीं. सो मे बी दैट स्ट्रेटेजी व्हिच दे हैड एट दैट टाइम दैट डिडंट वर्क. थोड़ा कुछ अटैकिंग करते, इवन डी कॉक ही ट्राइड टू अटैक, ही ट्राइड टू अनलीश एट दैट टाइम, बट वो एक शॉट ही उन्होंने खेला जिस वो जो लगा ही नहीं, फिर वो आउट हो गए उसी पे. एंड वो मतलब मे बी इवन आफ्टरवर्ड्स थोड़ा ट्राई कर सकते थे थोड़ा अटैक करने का, कुछ मे बी क्रीज पे से बाहर आके जैसा इंडियन बैटर्स कर रहे रोहित शर्मा और शुभमन गिल, मे बी ऐसा कुछ ट्राई करते थे वैंडरडूसन, तो फिर कुछ हो सकता था. बट वही है कि एक बार डी कॉक आउट हुए एंड मे बी द साउथ अफ्रीकन टॉप ऑर्डर एंड द अर्ली मिडल ऑर्डर आई वुड से दे वेंट इनटू अ शेल. उनको लगा कि थोड़ा टाइम निकाल लेते हैं एंड देन विल सी कैसा होता है.
राइट. और इसी के साथ डी कॉक का ये आखिरी मैच भी ओडीआई का मार्क हुआ है, बिकॉज उन्होंने अनाउंस किया था आफ्टर ओडीआई वर्ल्ड कप ही इज नॉट गोना बी इन दिस फॉर्मेट एनीमोर. और आखिरी मुकाबला था, बहुत कुछ एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे थे, लेकिन डेफिनेटली दैट्स इट फ्रॉम क्विंटन डी कॉक साइड. आई होप ही रिकंसीडर्स दिस, बिकॉज इस टूर्नामेंट में जिस तरीके से उन्होंने गेम्स खेले हैं, आई डोंट थिंक कि ओडीआई क्रिकेट उनका हर एक नॉक डिजर्व करता है. एंड इफ यू कैन जस्ट सिंपली रीथिंक अबाउट इट एंड वर्क अपॉन साउथ अफ्रीकन लाइनअप, दैट विल बी रियली ग्रेट. बट सो फार अभी तक जो फिलहाल अनाउंसमेंट्स हैं उसके चलते दिस इज द लास्ट ओडीआई मैच ऑफ क्विंटन डी कॉक. थैंक यू सो मच क्विंटन फॉर showing us such bravery on the field in this tournament the way you have seen. I think budding cricketers के लिए, आने वाले cricketers के लिए बहुत ही तगड़ा मैसेज होगा, अब बहुत कुछ सीखने के लिए भी होगा. But talking about this match, Vijit, itself, South Africa versus Australia, itself ऑस्ट्रेलिया के एंड से अगर हम बैटिंग की बात करें, क्या वाकई पिच इतनी डिफिकल्ट थी जैसे ऑस्ट्रेलियन बैटर्स खेल रहे थे? मतलब स्टीव स्मिथ स्कोर्ड 30 रन्स आउट ऑफ 62 balls. How can you even see that? It was not a test match, but they made it look like that. Was it really pitch was that difficult in the second innings? Yeah, it was just that Australia was not taking chances and they want to be really safe and win the match at any cost.
Bit of both actually, because शुरू में जो conditions थी, the way we saw Travis Head and Warner start 60 runs थे around like 6 overs में, so they were going at 10 runs per over. तो जिस तरह से स्टार्ट था, वो स्टार्ट देख के तो कोई भी बोलेगा कि पिच पे कुछ ज़्यादा डिफिकल्टी थी नहीं, बट एट दैट टाइम द बॉल वाज आल्सो न्यू एंड फास्ट बॉलर्स को वो इतना हेल्प नहीं मिल रहा था. बट एज सून एज द बॉल स्टार्टेड टू गेट ओल्डर एंड द स्पिनर्स केम ऑन, स्पिनर्स को हेल्प विकेट में काफ़ी मिला एंड दैट्स व्हाई द स्पिनर्स वर वेरी मच इफेक्टिव. मार्करम ने शुरुआत की विकेट्स की एंड मार्करम गॉट दैट विकेट लेटर ऑन. शम्सी एंड केशव महाराज दे बॉल रियली वेल. तो ये बात जरूर है, स्पिनर्स को हेल्प मिला था एंड दैट इज व्हाई आई थिंक दे वर नॉट टेकिंग इनफ, लाइक नॉट टेकिंग चांसेस. द ऑस्ट्रेलियन बैटर्स, स्टीव स्मिथ ने आई थिंक प्लेइंग दैट स्लो गेम सूट्स हिम एज वेल, क्योंकि वो टेस्ट मैच के जोरदार खिलाड़ी है एंड आई थिंक ही ट्रीटेड इट अ बिट लाइक दैट कि टेस्ट मैच जैसा. तो रिस्क कम ही लेना था बिकॉज टारगेट इतना हाई नहीं था. 250 260 कुछ होता तो डेफिनेटली रिस्क लेना ही पड़ता था, but they could afford not to take risk and that's why I think they played a bit slow as well. उसमें भी विकेट्स तो गए, शम्सी ने विकेट्स लिए, ये महाराज ने विकेट लिया, बट वही है, बात वही थी कि the runs were not enough on the board for South Africa. So but again full credit to them, they 213 का जो टारगेट था with the kind of start Australia got at that stage, वो देख के भी इतना tough fight दिया ऑस्ट्रेलिया को. It's full credit to South Africa on that front.
Right, and at the very end, let's talk about David Miller as well, because the way he has played this innings, it was like it takes I think heart, kidney and everything in your body to do such an inning, because you were like already 4 down at such a small scorecard, and then afterwards you come and score a century and give your team such a breakthrough जो कि imagine नहीं कर सकते. And that's what we expect from David Miller, because he has been doing that job for many years and we expect him to do so, but this such bravery, I really salute that, and the way he has scored the runs. What are your thoughts on that, Vijit, the way David Miller has showed the bravery?
Fantastic innings, वो तो no doubt. इतना जब आपका पूरा टॉप ऑर्डर ढेर हो गया था, 4 विकेट्स गिर गए थे एंड देन यू रीबिल्ड द इनिंग्स. रन्स भी इतने नहीं थे जो उन्होंने स्कोर किए. 24 रन्स ही थे साउथ अफ्रीका एट दैट स्टेज and they had to rebuild really like a lot at that stage. और मिलर, क्लासन दोनों ने मिलके किया. मिलर ने, जैसा मैं वही बोला, जब उन्होंने पेशेंस रख के खेला, जब whenever he felt like कि जहाँ पे चांस ले सकते हैं, he took those calculated risks, क्योंकि वो भी लेना जरूरी था. रन्स were needed at that stage, तो वैसा किया एंड he really timed his innings really well. इतना एक्सपीरियंस खिलाड़ी है अभी, मतलब उनसे वो एक्सपेक्टेड तो है. एंड द वे ही प्लेड, पूरे जो शॉट्स गैप्स वैप्स में लेते थे बीच में, एंड जिस तरह से क्लासन और उनका पार्टनरशिप चला, आई थिंक दैट रियली गेव हिम द कॉन्फिडेंस लेटर ऑन एज वेल व्हेन क्लासन गॉट आउट कि वो आगे भी खेल सकते हैं. एंड वही किया एंड he really like I like the way he attacked. Whenever he felt there was a chance, he attacked the bowlers, Australian bowlers, and that really paid off for South Africa in the end. जब उनका 100 हुआ and I felt like अभी तो ये, I think there were 3 overs left at that stage and I felt like Miller will unleash now, and उस stage पे ऐसा लग रहा था maybe 230 240 भी possible है with Miller on at the crease at that stage, but unfortunately उनके 100 बनाने के immediately बाद वो out हो गए. If he had stayed at that stage, I think South Africa, they would have had a much better chance defending this target.
Right, so I think David Miller की इस इनिंग को सभी लोग इस वक्त सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं. Let me show you some tweets over it कि सोशल मीडिया से कैसे सेलिब्रेट कर रहा है. So I've got the first tweet from the X platform. David Miller in today's match like a lone warrior, and we do know this scene from Game of Thrones, and definitely he was playing that role today for South Africa by scoring a century in front of mighty Australians. Now let me take you to another tweet of today's segment. Picture David Miller becomes the first South African men player to score 100 in a World Cup knockout, and it takes heart really to do it the way David Miller has done it. Another tweet, every cricket fan will appreciate this goat innings by David Miller from 101 from 116 balls. Today came at a very crucial time when South Africa totally lost hope with 24 for 4, and he played absolutely gold innings under huge pressure. Now, डेविड मिलर की डेफिनेटली ये सेंचुरी एक विनिंग कॉज में नहीं रही, बट ये सेंचुरी याद की जाएगी क्योंकि वो अपनी तरफ से पूरी कोशिश कर रहे थे टू विन इट फॉर साउथ अफ्रीका. बट नाउ वी हैव गॉट दिस ऑस्ट्रेलिया वर्सेस इंडिया व्हिच इज गोइंग टू हैपन ऑन 19th of November at Ahmedabad Stadium. With, I know it is very difficult to answer this, but which team do you think has a better chance?
काफी डिफिकल्ट है ये प्रेडिक्ट करना भी बहुत मतलब मुश्किल है, बट गिवन द करंट फॉर्म of both the teams and the conditions that might be there at Ahmedabad, because यहाँ पे कोलकाता में overhead conditions थी. I think Ahmedabad में weather, I think it would be sunny over there. Not sure what the weather forecast is, but I think I expected sunny रहेगा, तो उसमें ज़्यादा फास्ट बॉलर्स को एकदम हेल्प करेगा ड्यूरिंग द डे टाइम, ऐसा लगता तो नहीं है अगर वैसे कंडीशंस रही. बट नॉट श्योर लाइक व्हाट द पिच एंड द अदर कंडीशंस वुड बी, बट just because like if we just look at right just from without those things considered, India have the edge.
They definitely have the edge as per my opinion as well, because I also think this is going to happen. But let's wait till 19th of November before saying that, because we have to wait. Ultimately, it's the game of cricket and we would love to win it. But Australia is not going to be an easy opponent for sure. Whatever happened in the group stage, that happened. That was something else. But when you see Australia in the finals, that's definitely something else and not an easy task, definitely to take on. But I think I do believe in Rohit Sharma men, and they can definitely do it. So with that note, I'm going to end this show and let's make a comeback on 19th, where you can also come and watch the special coverage by CricTracker's live show before the match itself. We're going to discuss a whole lot of people and discuss more and more about cricket. तब तक आप देखते रहिए CricTracker.